So have you ever been famous? Ever been famous? When my youngest daughter was just a wee lass, one day I was signing something, and she saw me signing it, and she turned to my wife, and she said, "Dad's famous." And why did she say that? Well, she said that because my signature was very fancy. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was wide and long with great cursive prowess, and you could not tell a word that it said, right? There's no way in the universe you would have known that that was my signature and that was my name. It has been proven graphologically that famous signatures are both fancy and usually are not legible. You can't read them. You can't see anything about them. Now, the reality was, I was not famous. I'm still not famous, although somebody did say that similar to Gus Polinski, I'm kind of big in Sheboygan. But I haven't been able to prove that, so we'll just have to see. So what is fame? Well, by definition, fame is when a lot of people know about you. When a lot of people know about you. Now, it's been said that fame is fleeting. It's been said that everybody has 15 minutes of fame. In other words, the idea is that if you become famous, it's temporary. It's not something that lasts forever. People don't always know exactly that you're still famous. Fame is not really something where people can catch the moon in their hands and light up the sky like a flame. Fame, no, it's not there. Anyone who says that they can. Anyone who says that they can do these great and marvelous things, they're actually just giving you a heaping helping of meaningless malarkey, because it's not true. There's no one who can catch the moon in their hands. But what if there was? What if there was a kind of fame where the sky would light up like a flame? A kind of fame that wouldn't be a heaping helping of meaningless malarkey, but would actually be a hopeful helping of meaningful marvelousness. What if there was a kind of fame that can change how you think, how you feel, how you speak, how you act, how you vote, how you shop, even how you spend your Labor Day holiday? What kind of fame is that? Well, we continue our series today called Above All. And we're looking at an amazing moment in the life of someone named Isaiah. Now, Isaiah was a prophet who lived around Jerusalem. And about 739 years before Jesus was born, Isaiah had an experience. It was an experience unlike any experience that anyone had ever had. It was an experience that didn't just change that moment in his life, but it changed how he dealt with every moment in his life. What kind of fame did he experience, and what kind of confidence did he engage with in his experience? Well, let's see if we can find out. Today's message is called Above All Fame, and we'll pick up in Isaiah chapter 6, verse 3. And one called out to another and said, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies." So Isaiah's amazing experience with fame was a vision of God. Now, this isn't like a, sketchy vision of God like, somebody seeing the image of Jesus in a bowl of guacamole at Taco Town, okay? This is a different kind of vision. This is a vision where the one true, sovereign, holy God allowed Isaiah to catch just a glimpse of the majesty of God, the throne of God, the greatness of God. It was an experience that no one else has ever had, and really, by definition, will ever have unless they are with God himself. And what did Isaiah see in his vision? Well, it says in verses 1 through 2 that Isaiah saw God high and lofty and exalted. He saw God sitting on the throne that is above all other thrones. And also in his vision, he saw that the train of the royal robe of God filled the entire temple. In other words, the majesty of God is such that there is no other God, no other king, no other queen, no other president, no other doctor, no other coach, no other pastor, no other person that will ever compare with God. He is God, and He is God alone. And also in his vision, Isaiah saw standing above the throne of God seraphim. Well, what are seraphim? Well, seraphim are angelic beings that in their appearance are burning and radiant. They're fiery. They're the kind of beings that we would be mesmerized with. We would just be in wonder. And at the exact same time, we would be scared to death. They were beings that go beyond our comprehension. And the seraphim, not just in this vision, but always are hovering above the throne of God, and they seemingly only have one job. And their one job is to just keep making God famous. In other words, their only job is just to praise and acknowledge and cheer on God in all of His holiness. Their job is to praise God and to enjoy the greatness of God forever. Now imagine if you were going to do something forever. Okay, somebody said, hey, you're going to do one thing forever. What would you do forever? I mean, what would you want to do forever? Watch TV, go to the movies, play video games, listen to true crime podcasts, shop, golf, hunt, duck donut. What is it? What would you do forever? Well, I know it's hard for us to believe. But whatever it is that you would think in your mind, oh gosh, I wish I could do that forever. It's really not what you want to do forever. It's really not. You weren't created to have that one thing and do it forever. It's not just that you would shop until you dropped. No, you actually would no longer want to shop. Eventually you'd get tired of shopping. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But this moment that Isaiah is having, it's reminding us as we even hear it, that we can argue about it, we can debate it, we can deny it, we can fight against it, we can do a lot of things. But in the deepest part of who we are, we have all been created to know that life is more than just living and dying. We've been created to know that there is something inside of our eternal DNA that is very similar to the seraphim. And that thing is that we actually have been created to enjoy God forever. Why? Because there is nothing and no one more enjoyable and more desirable than God. How do we know that? Well, listen to what the seraphim were singing and saying. Verse 3, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. Holy, holy, holy. Other. There is no one like God. We can search the whole world over. We can dive deep into politics and purpose and philosophy and identity and orientation and dark matter and light mayonnaise and whatever it is that we want to dive into. We can get into all these different things in life, but no matter how deep you dive, no matter how high you climb, you're always going to come to the exact same message. No matter where you go, no matter what you experience, no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, we have been designed to end in one place, to find one thing, and that one thing is this: God is holy, holy, holy. That's where we end up. That's where we will go. Holy is the Lord. There is nothing and no one like the one true sovereign God. He is known as Yahweh, Elohim, Adonai. He's the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. He's the God of Miriam and Ruth and Mary. He's the God of Peter and Paul and Bartholomew. He's the God of Josie and Pat and Dow. There is no other God than the one true God, and He is holy, 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 and he is the Lord of armies. What does that mean? Well, it means that God is the creator and maintainer and sustainer of the host of heaven, the angels, the armies of angels in heaven. God is Lord of those. But not just that. God in his holiness, because there is no other like him, he is the Lord over all the armies of the earth. There is no army that has more power than God. He is the ultimate conqueror of every single army on this earth. He is God, and there is no other. There's nobody at your school like that. There's nobody at work like that. There's nobody in this church like that. There's nobody at your house like that. There's nobody at Taco Town that's like that. Holy, holy, holy. God and God alone. Stephen Lawson says it's very interesting that the seraphim were not saying love, 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 and they weren't saying mercy, 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 and they weren't saying wrath, wrath, wrath. Although God is love, God is mercy, and God is wrath. Lawson says this, they're crying out, holy, 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 because that is the sum and the substance of all that God is. There is no famous person right now, not in the movies, not in sports, not on TikTok, not on Instagram. There is no influencer. There is no one who their sum and their substance is holy, holy, holy. No one. There has never been anyone whose sum and substance is holy, holy, holy. No matter what great things they've done in the history of this country or in the history of the world, no matter what fantastic things they have done to help other human beings, past, present, and future, there is no one whose sum and substance is holy, holy, holy. Just God, who was and is to come. This is who he is. And maybe just to make sure that we don't get so heavenly minded that we become no earthly good, listen to the next thing the seraphim say. Verse 3. The whole earth is full of his glory. Have you ever heard someone say, man, he's full of himself, or she's full of herself? What that means is that person's a little bit arrogant, you know. They think they're just a little too great at being a hunter or being a golfer or being a fisher or being a shopper or being a duck donutter. You know, they just think they're a little too good at whatever it is that they do. Because he alone is holy, 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 God is never immaturely full of himself. The universe is full of him. The whole earth is full of his glory. What does that even mean? What does it mean that the whole earth is full of the glory of God? All right, quick show of hands. How many of you know who Charlie Waters is? Anybody? I got 2, 3, I got 5. All right. Well, Charlie Waters was a professional football player who incidentally also graduated from my high school and my college. When I was a kid, Charlie Waters was just the greatest. I mean, he was my most favorite famous person. I mean, just, you know, I had a t-shirt. I remember one of my birthdays, I got a t-shirt, a little white t-shirt, a little picture of Charlie Waters on the front. Man, I was a Charlie Waters guy. Love that guy. So he was famous to me. I mean, he was big time in my world. But in that same moment, somewhere over in Kokemäki, Finland, there probably wasn't a kid who even knew who Charlie Waters was, right? In other words, he was super famous in a lot of different corners of the United States and maybe some places overseas, but his fame did not fill the earth. The glory and fame of God fills the earth. He is holy, holy, holy. That means when it comes to the most famous person in the universe, only God's glory is in and on and under and around and over the earth. Only God. The Apostle Paul was writing to the church at Rome, and he was kind of talking about this picture of the glory and the fame and the holiness of God. And what he was writing was about how every single person understood this. The Christian, the non-Christian, the atheist, the person that's never been to church, or whoever else in between and beyond. This is what Paul wrote, Romans 1:20. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, that is, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived, being understood by what has been made, so that they are without excuse. Again, we can fight against it. We can act like it's not true, but we have been created in the deepest part of who we are to know and understand that the earth is full of the glory of God. My friend Jim Albright put it this way: naturalism and materialism simply can't explain what each of us feels as we drink in the wonder we bump into every single day of our lives. We wake up to a conscious mind brimming with feelings, hopes, dreams, and creative instincts. We hear Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and we know our souls were designed to soar with joy. We watch a perfect moonrise and a breathtaking sunset, and we know that we're made to not only recognize, but to savor majestic beauty. We look into the Milky Way on a clear night, and we sense that infinity awaits. Infinity awaits. How are you doing at drinking in the wonder that is around us? Or are you just simply drinking in the sound bites of the news media? Or are you simply drinking in the sound bites of college football? Or the sound bites of a college football game? Or the latest episode of Bluey? Or whatever the special is over at Taco Town? Are you drinking in the sound bites of TikTok videos and Instagram diet advice? Drinking in the sound bites of those true crime podcasts? What is it that we're drinking in the most? Listen, I was created to ultimately enjoy the glory of God that fills the earth. You were created to ultimately enjoy the glory of God that fills the earth. The glory of political stars, the glory of movie stars, the glory of music stars, the glory of sports stars, the glory of all the stars and all the famous people on this planet. Their glory does not fill the earth. Doesn't fill the earth. Do you know that right now there are people in some of the southern areas of Papua New Guinea and some of the northern areas of India that have no idea what the name Trump or Harris means? Do you realize there are people in the world that have no idea what a Frappuccino is? No idea what a Pokemon is? No idea what a Swiftie is? There are people that have no idea the things that we glory in every day, but those same people know how to look into the Milky Way and they see that infinity is waiting. They see the wonder. They may not be able to say that it is the one true God. They may not be able to describe his son, Jesus Christ, but they know infinity is waiting. How about your infinity? What is waiting for you in infinity? Is it the majestic beauty and holiness and glory and joy of being with God forever? Or is it the miserable brokenness, the horror, the grief, the joylessness of being separated from God forever? What is waiting for you in infinity? Hours before Jesus was arrested and crucified, he said this to his friends in John 16, "These things I have spoken to you so that in me you may have peace." That in me you may have peace. Part of what it means to be a Christian is that there is this confidence you have that your infinity is marked with peace. Because Jesus Christ purchased that peace with his own body on the cross. I got a text from a very, very good friend of mine last night, just, hey, pray for my wife, and found out this morning, just as I was pulling up to church, that she had a major medical issue and was rushed to the hospital while they were out of town this weekend, and they had to do emergency surgery, and so he was just kind of detailing some of that, and he just, as we back and forth, they're in Spartanburg, so I said, hey man, if you need me to drive up and get you a burger from Beacon, I'll do it, man. I'll do it right now, today, you know. But I just said, hey man, what can I do? How can we pray? And he said, just pray that we will have some peace as we rest and as we kind of walk through this. So I sent him a snapshot of this from my notes. These things I have spoken to you so that in me you may have peace. Jesus, by the very definition of who he is designed to be our peace. Win or lose with your team is not designed to be your peace. Good outcome or bad outcome from a surgery is not designed to be your peace. Good stock market, bad stock market is not designed to be your peace. Family and friends are not designed to be your peace. Jesus, by his very nature, is designed to be your peace. Paul said this to the church at Rome, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing. Peace is for those who are believing in and yielding to and trusting in and relying on and clinging to Jesus as their ultimate source of peace. A saving faith in Jesus Christ is where real peace comes from. Do you have that peace? Is that peace what's defining your infinity? If not, then we plead with you. Turn to Jesus today. Repent of your sin. Discover the hope and peace and joy that can only come through him. Not just hope and peace and joy for today, but hope and joy and peace for infinity. The fame that is above all other fame is in the glory of God and the face of Jesus Christ. There is no other fame like that anywhere in the world. Only in Jesus. Only in the glory of God. That glory that fills the whole earth. It's the same glory that the seraphim never stopped singing and shouting about. They're doing it right now. That doesn't happen to anyone or anything else in the universe. It doesn't. I mean, really, after the game, nobody comes into the locker room and tells the star quarterback, hey man, you're holy, holy, holy. If they are, they're crazy. There's no one and nothing anywhere in the universe that has this glory. And if you're a Christian, that should give you great confidence. Because as we've been saying, that means if your team loses, if your candidate loses, if your health fails, if your finances fail, you can still be confident in who God is, and he is your God. His glory fills the earth. That includes the stadium. That includes the hospital. That includes your house. That includes the funeral home. That includes the very worst moment of life. His glory fills it. And why is that important? Because things go wrong, right? Things go wrong in life. Tests are failed. Families are messy. Jobs are difficult. Politics are crazy. Health gets tough. Money gets tight. And when those things happen, it matters that today, in this moment, that we embrace that God is holy, holy, holy. Because if we do, we're also embracing his promise in and through the birth and life and death and resurrection and ascension and promised return of Jesus. Meaning that our confidence is in something that has been guaranteed. Our confidence is in something that cannot be taken away from us. Our confidence is in a peace that comes to us when everything is going wrong. We always know that the glory and holiness of God is still right. It cannot be changed. Christina Fox was having to talk to her young kids about a devastating thing happening in their family. And what she did was she tried to use the whole story of God to tell her kids about this hard thing that was happening. The whole story of God, the story of His holiness and His glory that filled all the earth. The story of the beginning and the middle and the end and the promises of eternity. All of it. She included all of it in her story. She didn't just say, hey, we're just going to let go and let God, you know. She wanted to help her kids catch a glimpse of the greatness of God. And this is what she said. I know many more situations and hard discussions will come up in my life as a parent. As much as I'd like to avoid it, I can't. And I can't sugarcoat the realities of life. But I can give my children hope. By recounting the story of creation, fall, and redemption, I can help them understand what happened to God's perfect world. How Jesus came to save us, and how one day all the hard and painful stories of life will end. And then we'll begin a new chapter, one that will never end. All the hard things will end, and a new chapter based on the holiness and the glory of God will begin. A chapter that will never end. There is no famous person that can say that, follow through with it, and make it happen. There's only one fame that is above all fame, and that is the fame and the glory of God. And if He's your God, then there is coming, even in a little bit today, there is coming a day where there will be a chapter that will never, ever end. The whole earth is full of the glory